the UK is considering military action if a Russian spy ship approaches our coast after targeting RAF pilots with a laser.
Well, the Defence Secretary John Healey says the UK is ready to respond if the ship moves south from the north of Scotland.
Well, Russia denies targeting British communications, and they're calling us Russophobic.
This important interruption is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Protect your money and your identity. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code here to get ExpressVPN right now and save up to 73% on annual plans today. Right, let's get back into it.
Which is a real word, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, let's speak now to former Defence Secretary Penny Mordaunt, who joins us now. Very good morning to you, Penny. How concerned are you about this news?
Well, it is a pattern of behaviour that we have seen for some time. We've been very used to them testing our airspace, what you've been seeing over recent weeks and months about them testing our NATO allies, their airspaces with drones. This is a very systematic thing that they are doing. And they've been up to this stuff for a very long time indeed. They also use what appear to be legitimate commercial entities to lay cabling themselves and then sabotage other people's cabling so that data moves onto their own networks. This is old school. They've done this for a long time. I think it's very concerning that they've gone as far as doing what they have with regard to the RAF. And the Defence Secretary is absolutely right to robustly respond to them.
How much of a real threat do they pose with this sort of action, or is it simply sabre rattling?
No, they do pose a real threat, and it may not look like them sending missiles over or attacking us in a traditional way that people might expect, but it will be about sabotaging our communications. It will be putting our critical national infrastructure at risk. It will be trying to sabotage the NHS and the data that supports the well-being of our citizens. They are a real threat, and they've said that they're a real threat. They've been quite open about all sorts of things that they're planning on doing, and it's high time we started believing them. Britain has to wake up. We have got to start rearming and investing in our defences. The First Sea Lord said a few weeks ago we have 4 years to do this in. Keir Starmer is not doing this. He said he believes it's our moral duty to, and he is failing to do it. So as we approach the budget, we have got to put pressure on the Chancellor to actually deliver and give our armed forces the modern equipment they need to keep us safe.
Every time you're online, your money and your identity are at risk. Scams now make up nearly 40% of all crime in the UK. That's thousands of attacks every single day. In Britain, someone has their identity stolen every 2 minutes, leaving victims with wrecked finances and years of stress. The threat is real, and you could be next. ExpressVPN is your shield against criminals. It locks down your devices, hiding your personal information and financial details from hackers, scammers, and anyone else looking to exploit you. So whether you're checking your bank, shopping, or just browsing, ExpressVPN makes you invisible to prying eyes trying to steal your money and your identity. ExpressVPN shields your data with military-grade AES 256 encryption. That's the same standard trusted by the US government to guard classified information. This is the highest level of online security you can get. So don't wait for disaster. Secure up to 14 devices at once and get powerful password protection. Real support is available 24/7 because cybercrime never sleeps. Save up to 73% on annual plans today. Every moment you hesitate is another moment you're exposed. Protect your money and protect your identity. Get ExpressVPN right now.
When John Healey said yesterday that Britain would be ready to respond, it also came on the same day as that report by MPs yesterday that said the UK lacks a plan to defend itself from a military attack. How ready would we actually realistically be to defend ourselves against an attack like this?
Look, our armed forces are incredible, and with the equipment that they have, they use it in a very creative way. I don't want your viewers to worry. We have got what we need to keep us safe. The problem is that in a few years' time, unless we invest now, we won't. We won't be able to do that. We have got to modernise. Your viewers will know how warfare is changing. They'll see what has happened in Ukraine and how things are moving very quickly. Unless we give a signal to industry that it can produce things at the volume we're going to need them, they won't be able to do that. So look, we've paid lip service to 5% as the new NATO spending floor. We've actually got to do it. And right now, on the Treasury's plans, defence isn't going to get money for 5 years. In fact, the budget is going to drop. That's an outrage. There's a massive conference going on today in London called the Price of War Symposium, and it's nations coming together to try and wake people up, to try and say to them, spend money on this critical. I mean, it's the first duty of any government to protect its citizens and to protect their interests. We're not doing it in Britain, and Rachel Reeves needs to address that next week.
The trouble is we haven't done it for a long time, have we? I mean, we've sort of suffered because of a long time of peace, if you like, and successive governments have thought, well, we don't need to spend all this money. The attitude and the tone of that debate is changing now, isn't it?
Well, the debate is changing. I think if you ask most of the general public, they will know we're facing these threats. They will see it on the news, and they understand the connections between having a strong defence budget and being able to protect our interests and protecting the NHS, giving food security, keeping our sea lanes open. I think the public do understand why these things are important. The problem is that the Treasury doesn't. It is continually underfunded and measured things wrongly for defence. It's not been providing in recent years what this country needs to defend itself. And as we go into the budget, it's got to change that. The Prime Minister stood up in front of the country and the President of the United States and said we would do this, we would do it properly. And currently we're not doing it. And if we start to do it, then I think you'll see less of this emboldened Russia that seems to be poking us and our NATO allies every day.
OK, former Defence Secretary Penny Mordaunt, thank you very much for joining us on Breakfast.
Thank you.
I really do think we need to really bolster our armed forces. I do think people's attitudes are changing now. It's that whole, to plan for peace, prepare for war sort of attitude. A really, really strong armed forces does not mean we're going to fight everyone, does it? It's about our defence and it's about being a deterrent, really. But I do think, I know my attitudes change over the last 5 years or so when I've had a lot more to do with the armed forces. But you do get this real sense that they need to be there, we need to have them in numbers, they need to be properly trained and they need to be properly equipped, which they're not at the moment. And that makes us a strong island nation that people will be less likely to mess with.
And as Penny was just alluding to there, Russia is testing NATO, it feels like almost every single day. There was the sabotage on the Polish rail networks, wasn't there, just a few days ago? Drones across Eastern Europe, Russian jets in Eastern European airspace, and now this, just off the coast of northern Scotland. So we do need to be aware. And we do need to be prepared as well. On
this, Bobby's been in touch. Morning, Bobby. Says whether it's Russian ships or planes or subs, they are and have been close to our borders for years. Well, they have. That's the name of the game, if you like. They're still in and this ship's still in international waters at the moment, but it's getting frighteningly close. But it is the game. It's what happens. But it's why we need a strong armed forces to be able to defend against it if we need to, if action needed to be taken.
But Russia aiming lasers at RAF pilots, that hasn't been done before. That tactic hasn't been used against Britain before. So that's worrying. That is worrying.
And it won't be like a pen laser sort of thing. It'll be something, a lot more powerful than that.
Absolutely.